Relax, sit back as we fill your mind with spooky true crime stories of the deranged, unhinged, and absolute pure evil murders that will blow your mind. Some places we will visit to show you around and educate you on the history. Other times we will bring you to the paranormal because the dead never lie silent for too long.
Be the last time anybody sees us alive. I don't know where she has us, but we're gonna get fucking killed.
Hello? Gina, there is a beehive over there. Do you see that in the hole?
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back for another week.
Yeah.
Missed everybody. We were gone last week.
Well, she was gone. I wasn't.
I was gone, and then I came back, and I was tired because I went to go see my daughter in Texas, and instead of it wasn't like a vacation. It's like all I did was put together furniture and set up her apartment, and I just worked the whole week I was there. I wasn't even like resting. And then Houston is like, you know, might as well just be a whole sauna
God.
town. Yeah, it's so humid, so it was disgusting. So I just every time you stepped out, you're like, I'm tired. Let's go back in.
I just realized you're wearing your Massachusetts sweater too. How ironic!
I know. Look at that, Salem.
Yeah,
I know.
I have my Boston sweater on. Wow, look at that.
But this one I got off of Temu. My mom shops crazy at Temu, so it wasn't even one I got in Salem.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't remember you buying that.
You're like, that's really cute. I didn't get one. I'm like, no.
Like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, this was straight from Boston.
That's from Boston. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
The Bostonians.
Yeah.
So I am so super bummed. Can I talk about it? About the
you can
Jane's
talk about
addiction thing? I am
Talk.
so freaking bummed about it.
Yeah, we all are. It's a pretty messed up, shitty thing. Team Navarro forever. That's all I gotta say.
No. I'm so sad. But I really.
For those of you that didn't know, Shannon and I have plans to go see Jane's Addiction in
we did
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
a little bit of a hookup, if you could say.
And so I was so super excited because it's my first hookup.
Yeah,
and because I don't have too many hookups in rock. And I mean, I know, hard to believe because I'm super cool like that, but really hard to believe. I don't have a lot of rock and roll hookups. And so I was really excited. Yeah. And then I'm bummed, but I did send a message out to Dan on Instagram. I didn't do it personal because I thought like he was probably getting bombarded with a bunch of text messages. So I just figured, you know, he'll see it when he sees it, if he ever sees it. But I just sent him a message because I really liked the way he handled it. Yeah. You know, it was with a lot of
I like the way everybody handled it.
Yeah. They did.
Yeah.
Like
it was done very professionally.
Yeah. It wasn't. I almost felt like the audience almost didn't know what was going on until it was at the end of it. Yeah. So it was done very well. So yeah, I
agree.
But I was bummed about that, but that's okay. You know, and you know what I feel bad about too though is, and a lot of those people, that's their income. They're working the shows. You know, they're not on stage. There's a lot of people in the back that are doing the work in the back. Yeah. And that their income, that it just stops.
Yeah. It really sucks. The whole thing sucks. I feel bad, obviously, for the band. And hopefully, you know, Perry will get the help that he needs. But I feel bad for the fans who have purchased tickets.
Who are excited to see them.
Yeah. And so, it's just,
it sucks all around.
It's sad. It's a sad situation. But on a lighter note.
Yes.
My mom. So let me back up. I don't know if I talked about it on here on a Patreon episode, or I think I might have talked about it on Rare From Radio. I'm not sure. I talked about it on either our podcast or Dan's. But anyway, I made the final decision to donate my body. Yes. And those papers that I asked you to print out, you don't have to do that anymore because I did that. I did it already. That's
right.
So.
She told me to print out papers
like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, the process is done.
I was trying, let it just go out there. I wanted to keep her body for myself. So I was trying to hinder the process.
Yeah. But. So anyway, I've I've chosen to donate my body to the Body Farm in Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, which is where they do forensic testing and a bunch of stuff like that. It's not basically I don't think it's really to science.
Yeah.
It is strictly for forensic testing. So, we've been, I had to talk to my family and make sure because my body will not be returned.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't expect it to be.
Well, when you donate your body to science, it is. When they're done testing on it, then they cremate you and they give you back to your family like a year or so later. With this place, they don't. So I just wanted to make sure,
everybody was okay with that.
My family, that they were okay. So anyway, we've been discussing that in my household with everybody. And yesterday, my mom's like, so did you hear what's going on in Texas? And I was like, no, what's going on in Texas? What isn't going on in Texas?
Thank you.
Apparently there is, I cannot seem to get the story straight. I don't understand exactly how it's happening, but there have been unclaimed bodies that have been sold to, I believe, the University of Texas for medical testing. And they're like, these people's family are not aware of where these bodies are going.
I'm going to say it's shady. When you say the word sold, think
it's
bodies could get claimed, but they
no. They did a whole investigation.
Unclaimed.
Well, that's what.
Like, loosely.
So basically, these people are saying like, no, we reached out to the families and never got a hold of them. But NBC News was able to get a hold of them when they started doing their investigation.
Yeah.
So they were selling sometimes like a whole entire intact body, and sometimes like a torso would go for like $900 and a leg would go for $350.
Okay, my question is, doesn't the university ask where these bodies are coming from?
I don't know. And this is what's kind of confusing to me. If anybody knows the answer to this, please comment below. So say a family member of yours is in an accident and they die. They get taken to the hospital. You get the phone call. Your so-and-so, was in a car accident, blah, blah, blah. You go to the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens next?
Well, if they pass away, the body gets taken down into the morgue at the hospital.
Correct.
And then
taken to the mortuary.
The family contacts the mortuary for the mortuary to come and pick up the body at the one they choose.
Okay.
And the body gets taken over to that mortuary, and then you handle the arrangements.
Okay. So that's exactly what happened when my dad died.
Yeah.
So how are these people getting these bodies?
That's what I wanted. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to. I mean,
that's where I'm stuck. That's where I'm kind of. Yeah. I'm not completely understanding how they're getting these bodies.
What I'm thinking is bodies that are unclaimed, meaning John Doe's, Jane Doe's, gets taken down to the hospital morgue.
Well, they're claiming that they were unclaimed.
Them. Yeah, but they're saying
they're not.
They're not. Okay, so then my second guess is that these bodies get taken down there. The family can't afford a funeral. And it's not that they're not claiming them. They just can't pick them up in a timely manner. And maybe that's when the sale takes place. And then now these families are unaware. Yeah. They're thinking,
I don't know,
the bodies are in a holding tank somewhere waiting to, for the money or the funds. And therefore, because my only thing is, what do they do with these bodies when people can't afford a funeral?
They're put in potter's graves, I thought. A potter's grave is just like at a cemetery.
On top of each other?
No, I believe they're like individual, but like they just, they don't, it's.
But maybe they're not putting, maybe they're telling the family they are, but they're not putting them in there? But I thought potter's graves were more for like you said, like unclaimed, but.
I don't think so, only because... Why would you
put them in graves if you can cremate them and save space if they're unclaimed, though? And cremation's so much cheaper.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
We're going to have to research this topic and we'll get back to you. We have a lot of questions.
But anyway, I just thought that was pretty wild that this is, what I have just decided to do and go through all the testing to be approved to donate my body. And now
everything that you had to go through to do it, but yet these bodies are just being sold.
Yeah, because it's a lot. Like the packet is 20 pages long, and I had to fill it. Like I have to take it to my dentist. I had to have blood work done. I went yesterday. I have to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that you have to do. One of them, ironically, being is I have to list on a piece of paper all of my tattoos, what they are, and the placement.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well, I might die before I do that. Like, that's going to take me a long time.
I was going to say, yeah, pictures are probably better than just writing it down.
You have to send a picture of your face, but not.
But by the time you die, you'll probably have 20 or 30 more.
I don't know. Or it's just going to blend in to be one big one. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
anyway, it's a pretty interesting process. So
yeah, no, that's crazy. But then when you said Texas, I said, oh, well, everything goes in Texas. So
yeah, I just thought it was really interesting when my mom had told me that. I was like,
yeah, I haven't heard of that
then.
either.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so what are we talking about today? This is all Shannon. So
it is. Today we are talking about Jessie Bardwell. Was it an accident or was it murder? I'll tell you.
She's going to tell us.
We're going to tell you. You're going to know. So in 2022, I'm just going to come out with a statistic real fast because I was shocked by these numbers. And I know that we talk about missing persons all the time and we kind of joke like, oh, if we did a podcast every single, we'd like be 1,000 years old. We'd never cover everything that's out there. But in 2022, there were 546,568 missing person files in the United States.
Wow.
And more were under the age of 21 years old. So the biggest number of that, like the percentage-wise, is more of them were under the age of 21 years old.
Wow.
So they're saying this was an increase from 2021, which had the lowest number of missing person files in the country since 1990.
Yeah, because COVID.
That's what I think. Like
people
COVID
were afraid
stopped.
to touch other people. So how you murder somebody and kidnap
they weren't
them.
out.
Yeah.
You know, kids were at home. They weren't walking to and from school.
Yeah.
So approximately 4,400 unidentified bodies are recovered every year. What surprised me was that more males over the age of 21 go missing than females. But under the age of 21, more females went missing.
Oh, wow.
However, there are many reasons why people go missing, and some just decide to disappear on their own. So that's probably what I think, like a lot of the males, you know, they go missing on their own. They take off.
Yeah.
You know, but hopefully that's best case scenario.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, however, that was not the case for Jessie Bardwell. Jessie Bardwell was born on September 10th, 1988. According to her dad, Gary, he cried the minute she was born. It was such a happy moment for her dad, and from that day forward, he had a strong bond with her. He describes it as like he just instantly, they were like best friends.
Yeah.
Like just from the time she was born.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for some people, you know how they say they don't have that connection or they do, but he just had this strong connection with her. So Jessie grew up alongside her older brother, Brandon. Jessie was very close to her brother and dad. When she was little, she would follow her dad around and not want him to let her out of her sight. She was definitely a daddy's little girl. When Jessie was 14 years old, her parents divorced and Jessie went to live with her dad. So Jessie graduated from Resurrection High School in Pascagoula in 2007 and attended Ole Miss, the University of Southern Mississippi, and the University of South Alabama. From the day she was born, she was always smiling. She loved people and they loved her. And that is one of the reasons she had hundreds of friends, more than most of us can count. She really loved clothes, purses, shoes, and cars. Most of all, she loved her parents. Jessie worked hard at every task she undertook. She loved to attend concerts and festivals. She exemplified a beautiful, kind, fun-loving young woman. Jessie lived in Orange Beach, Alabama, with her long-term boyfriend and loved being around water. She worked at a beachside restaurant named Cobalt and seemed to enjoy life. She tried attending college, but it wasn't for her. Kimberly Ashbury, one of Jessie's friends and coworker, found out that Gary was a musician and booked a gig for him at a restaurant. He came out, and Kimberly can see that Jessie and her dad were not only father and daughter, but they were friends. They went out boating and fishing during his visit, and she attended his gigs. Jessie and her dad would talk on the phone and text every day. One day, to the surprise of her family and friends, she up and moved to Richardson, Texas, leaving her boyfriend and friends wondering why.
There we go, Texas again.
According to her friend Kimberly, she was just going to Texas for a couple of weeks to clear her head. She said that her and Jessie went from talking on the phone all the time to not hearing from her at all. It was especially a shock to her dad, who she was so close to, because Jessie had not mentioned the move to him at all. She knew during her home visit at Christmas before her move and did not say a word to anyone about it. So they were saying like right before the holidays, because she moved like around January, February, I want to say, maybe even March. I don't know. She moved like right after the holidays, but she had visited her family during the holidays and she did not even say nothing to them. And that's what surprised them the most, because she was just so close to her dad.
Especially, I was going to say, it sounds like she was really close to her dad.
Yeah. And he would go out there and visit her and stuff, and she didn't say anything. Jessie's dad did not have a good feeling about her move to Texas. Prior to Jessie's disappearance, he woke up one morning from a nightmare that Jessie was killed. Was this a premonition or just a dream?
Did she move there, or it said like she just went out there for a few weeks?
She told them she was just going to go for a couple weeks, and she ended up staying out there. She ended up moving out there.
Oh, gotcha.
With this guy. So this guy, Jessie had met Jason Lowe, who was handsome, outgoing, ambitious, and had 2 college degrees. When Jason left for a job opportunity paying 6 figures outside of Dallas, Texas, Jessie decided to follow him and pursue her dream of being a cosmetologist. So she was living with a boyfriend in Alabama, a long-term boyfriend. She had a job. She had her friends. She meets this guy. The friends say he seemed nice, but she meets this guy, and then she says, oh, I'm going to leave for Texas for a couple weeks just to clear my head. And she ends up never coming back.
Yeah.
She ends up just staying out there, which is so weird.
Yeah.
At first, Jessie said things were great between her and Jason. However, about a month after the move, they got into a huge fight. Jason accused Jessie of cheating on him before she moved out to Texas, and that she got pregnant by someone else and had an abortion. At first, Jessie said things were great between her and Jason. However, about a month after the move, they got into a huge fight. Jason accused Jessie of cheating on him before she moved out to Texas, and that she got pregnant by someone and had an abortion. Jason kicked her out of the house, and she stayed the night at a friend's house. She called her dad that night crying and said that she wanted to come home. Her dad bought her a plane ticket for the next day, but Jessie never showed up at the airport. She later told her dad that Jason felt bad about the fight and that she was staying in Texas. Not too long after that, Jessie's friends and family stopped hearing from her. Then all of a sudden, Jessie's phone number had been shut off. In order to talk to Jessie, her family and friends had to either call Jason or the house phone, the landline.
Wow.
And he was monitoring all her calls, even the ones from her dad. Her dad was getting more and more angry.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Jason's guilty, but
oh, well,
that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, so Gary demanded to talk to his daughter, and Jason would tell him that she said she would call him back. And like, he was calling numerous times, and like, he's like, I can't even just talk to her. Like, he would not even give her the phone. At first, like, he would, and then as time went on, he was just like, oh, well, you know, she's not here. She'll call you back. 2 months after that call, Jason and Jessie went to visit her family in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Gary could tell that there was something off right away, but he could not convince his daughter to stay and not return to Texas. She told her dad she was fine and that was the last time he saw his daughter. And the crazy thing is he said that when she was there, like, she was hugging him all the time and always going to him and hugging him. And when she left, she hugged him for a really, really long time. So
she obviously knew something was up.
Yeah, I just don't think it was a really good relationship, but she was afraid to leave.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and he separated her from family, friends.
Yeah.
She just didn't know what to do. So about a week after she left, he went into her room and started to write a song called Taken Away. When you hear the lyrics, it is really eerie how he almost can feel that she would one day be gone forever. Although the last verse was added after she was gone. The lyrics are, I kissed her on her forehead. She hugged me so tight. She said, Daddy, don't worry. It's going to be all right. As they were leaving, just a thing we used to do, she signed to me with her right hand, I love you. Taken away, taken away. There's a brand new break in my heart each and every day. How many breaks can a heart take until it's taken away? Then they drove away in the darkness of the night. I watched the tail lights as they faded out of sight. As I walked into the house, a feeling chilled me to the bone. I called her and I begged her, Jessie, please come back home. Please take the sadness away in the world today. Now I see her dancing in the clouds, smiling every day. Still pain consumes my heart. It won't go away. She's walking with her family on those streets of gold. She will live forever in my heart and soul. Isn't that weird that before she was even gone, like he just...
Well, I think too, like as a parent, and you just know when things are wrong with your children sometimes. Yeah. And especially, if she's going through this and it had been not a one-time thing, if this has been something that she had been going through for a while.
Yeah.
And he probably felt helpless too, being so far away from her. And, it's just, that's hard.
He does carry a lot of guilt. Like, I should have just made her stay. I should have just grabbed her that first time, but what are you going to do?
What parent wouldn't, but it's not, it's not your fault.
She's 27, at this point.
Yeah,
so.
you can only do so much.
Yeah.
2 months after their visit, Jessie stopped answering his calls altogether. When Gary would call to talk to Jason, all Jason would say is that he did not know where she was at and that she could come and go as she pleased. On Mother's Day 2016, after Jessie failed to call her mother or stepmother, Gary knew something was not right. He told his wife to pack some bags and they left for Texas the next morning to find her. When Gary got to Texas and Jessie was nowhere to be found, he filed a missing persons report. Detective Hale was assigned to the case and first talked to Jason over the phone. Jason said the last time he saw Jessie was on Mother's Day morning when she left in her Acura. He claimed that they did their own thing and really didn't question each other about their whereabouts. The detective then went to see Jason at the apartment a few more times to ask him questions. He did not see any sign of a struggle at the apartment and nothing seemed out of place. However, the detective found out that the Acura was sold 3 weeks before Mother's Day. So Detective Hale and another detective, Detective Willardson, went to confront Jason about his lies. But something on the counter at the apartment caught his eye. It was a line of cocaine that Jason admitted to. Also, there was a foul odor coming from the garage. When they looked in the garage, they instantly knew it was the smell of death. It was coming from the back of Jason's Audi. The car had standing fluid in the hatch. The bumper was inside the car. Mud was on the inside and outside of the car, and it smelled like decaying flesh. Jason claimed that the car got stuck in the mud while he was looking for Jessie. When the investigators sprayed the back of the car with luminol, it lit up bright blue, indicating that there was blood. Jason was arrested on the spot for the drugs, but detectives used this opportunity to continue to talk to him about where Jessie might be. Detective Willardson placed a photo of Jessie in front of Jason and asked him to look at the girl he loved and wanted to marry.
Detective Willardson, okay, thank you, Detective Hale. Just want to talk with you for a few minutes. From what I understand, everything kind of started with your girlfriend missing or something like that? Any idea where she might have gone? Did you guys have a fight, or?
Everything was fine.
Why did you call anybody asking for her, looking for her, or, she had friends around, anything like that?
I don't know anybody here.
Did you wonder where she went?
Yeah, I wondered a lot of things. I've already gone through all this, man. I don't want to keep answering the same questions. I really don't.
Okay.
I just like the 20th time I've answered them.
How about this? We did a search warrant at your apartment. We found a bunch of blood in the back of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The blood in the back of the Audi.
I don't know anything about it.
So you don't know what happened to her, you don't know where she went, she just up and left you. You guys were gonna get married and everything was good, and she just decided to leave. It sounds kind of odd, don't you think? We're just trying to find her, man.
Uh-huh.
She has people calling, friends calling, family calling. They hadn't heard from her and they're concerned. The only thing we want to do is find out where she is.
I don't know.
Do you think you'll ever see that face again?
Every time I close my eyes.
What do you see?
She might have laid in my arms.
Is she asleep? She's not asleep? She's awake? Do you hear her voice? And what is her voice saying?
No.
Is she saying, I love you? I want to be with you? She's saying, help me? Jessie has a lot of people who care about her. And our job is to find her. The only thing we want to know is where she is.
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
I don't know why I don't.
If something happened to her, we can talk about it. If an accident happened, we can talk about it. Did somebody else do something to her?
I don't know anything, man. I've told you everything I know. I'm done talking, really. Can we wrap this up?
Just trying to find out
Can
where
we
she's
wrap
at.
this up? I'm done talking.
Just trying to find out where she's at.
Alright, well then we can keep asking the same question.
So you take a polygraph and you'd have no issue with it?
I'm not talking anymore until I speak with an attorney.
Now let's go.
He just seemed very irritated that they were questioning him about her disappearance. Jason did not cooperate with the police. However, based on a tip that they had reason to believe she would be found on the property of a remote ranch in North Texas. 3 weeks after she was believed to be last seen, her body was found wrapped in a blue fitted sheet in mud next to some car parts. She was covered with debris, including a red blanket and 2 red and gold towels. Her body was so badly decomposed that it took 7 days to confirm her identity. It was a very brutal homicide. Jesus, 7 days. Good grief. She must have been gone for a long time.
7 days, yeah, to identify
Dang.
her.
Well, my body donation will help
With forensics.
detectives learn how to do this. So
Perfect.
you're welcome. While Jason was in jail awaiting trial, his defense team was working on his case. One person who came and visited Jason in jail was a friend of the couple, Tommy Jordan. Tommy Jordan and his wife, Regina, really like the young couple. They described Jessie as shy and quiet, a stark contrast to how her family and friends would have described her prior to moving to Texas. However, they did not see any signs that the couple was having trouble. In fact, on May 1st, the Jordans were heading out of town and asked Jessie and Jason to house sit for them for a few days and take care of their dog. When they returned, they didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Next thing they knew was Jason was being arrested for the murder of Jessie. They were shocked. When Tommy went to visit Jason in jail, he was shocked by a confession that Jason made. Jason told Tommy, I fucked up and I made a mistake, like it was an accident, and I know what I'm guilty of. I'm guilty of criminal negligence.
So he actually admitted that
He did it.
something happened.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, negligence isn't the same as murder, but
Yeah.
but we're getting there.
We are, yes. It's slowly
We're
coming
almost
out.
there.
Yeah.
So Jason was now admitting he was there when Jessie died. Jason's attorney set up a mock trial to see how this admission would hold up in court. The mock jury comes back with a 15-0 acquittal. This gives the defense team and Jason the confidence to go into trial.
So they thought they're going with the fact that it was an accident.
Yeah.
And so they were sitting there going, okay, well, we can do this mock trial and see how it goes if we put Jason on the stand.
Yeah.
Well, when they did it with this mock trial, the mock jury was like, yep, 15-0. He was acquitted from the charges.
Right.
And so they were like all confident.
Oh, of course.
That they can go in and beat this charge.
So about a year and a half later, the trial against Jason begins, and 2 of Jason's ex-girlfriends are called to testify. They paint a dark and ugly picture of Jason, a boyfriend with a dark side who would use manipulation and control to drive a wedge between them and their families. His ex, Haley McDaniel, testified that he would get furious and accuse her of cheating. One night, he pushed her to the ground, got on top of her, and pushed one hand over her mouth and another over her nose. She believes that if she did not leave him, that he would have killed her. Jason denied any of this ever happening.
So I don't think when they were doing the mock trial, they were bringing up
Witnesses,
yeah, people to testify that, this guy's has a history of being abusive.
You would think any attorney would know that is a possibility that they could get, especially with somebody with this sort of history.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it's because nobody called the cops. He was never arrested prior to this.
Maybe.
There was no
that it's just hearsay.
Police
that's
report,
true.
but yeah.
The prosecution believes that Jessie was killed shortly after the Jordans left out of town. The blue fitted sheet and towels matched the ones the Jordans had in their home.
She actually still had the, the other sheet. How they have the fitted sheet and then they have the other
flat sheet,
the flat sheet. Thank you. And that she actually still had it. She was like, I don't know why I still kept this because I should just, because. But he took the fitted
but that
sheet.
proved that,
like this came out of our closet. Out of our home.
Yeah. Jason took the stand at trial with his parents in the courtroom. He talked about becoming addicted to drugs at 13 years old. He was an only child in a well-off family. Jason says on May 1st, while house sitting, Jessie and him took GHB and started to get intimate in the shower. GHB, is that the date rape drug?
Yeah. And we've always talked about, why would a girl take that?
Yeah.
On their own?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but, I mean, maybe it makes you feel all woo and good, but we don't buy it, first of all, but.
He says they both slipped and she hit her head. She told him that she felt dizzy, but they both went to sleep that night. When he woke up, she was lying on his chest. He tried to wake her, but she would not get up. Next thing he knew, his drug dealer, Cowboy, was knocking on the door. He claims it was Cowboy's idea to grab the fitted sheet and wrap her up. Jason was so devastated by this that after he placed Jessie in the back of his Audi and parked it in the garage, he started sexting other women and sending dick pics.
Yeah, okay. What? Thank you. Yeah, he threw her in the back of his Audi, parked her in the garage, and was sexting other women. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how traumatized he was by this woman he supposedly loved.
Wow.
And her death.
Wow.
He's so scummy.
Ugh. Okay. Jessie's family was not buying Jason's story at all. However, they sat there and listened to his bullshit. The defense told the jury that Jason did feel bad about not calling for help or telling anyone sooner. He actually cut a deal with the prosecution from serving 99 years to serving half of that if he told them where her body was.
So when the cops went to the family and said, hey, we got this tip in North Texas, they didn't want to tell the family who they got the tip from.
Right.
They kept that close to their chest because they wanted to make sure that, they can prosecute this guy and get him for what he did. And so he was actually the one who told him where to find the body. So the family all along thought, okay, they got a tip and they found my daughter, but he was actually the one who told them where the body was. So that's why he had the mud in the car. Well, which we all knew.
Of course,
you could have put everything together.
Yeah.
Circumstantial evidence if a body wasn't found. Look at that, people. It does happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. The defense attorney was saying he felt bad and everything, but the prosecution's like, no, he didn't.
No.
He didn't feel bad.
Feel bad at all.
No, he cut a deal. He didn't do this because he missed Jessie. He loved her. He wanted the family to have her back. He didn't want to spend all that time in prison.
Of course. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So after 6 hours of deliberation, Jason was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 50 years.
Defendant, please rise. State of Texas versus Jason Michael Lowe, cause number 219-82169, 2016. Jury's verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder as charged in the indictment, signed by the presiding juror in this matter. Does this side wish to have the jury polled at this time?
We do.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if this is your verdict, if you would please raise your right hand. Court notes for the record there are 12 hands raised. It appears to be a unanimous verdict. You may each put your hands down.
Jason will be eligible for parole in May 2041, which is not too far away, folks.
No.
He would be 52 years old.
52. Like, you still can live a whole life.
Oh, yeah.
But that's if he gets parole. But he's eligible for parole at 52 years old. But that's crazy.
I mean, I guess stranger things have happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for another week.
Yes.
Shannon and I leave this weekend coming up for Milwaukee.
Yes.
So we will be gone. I don't know if we will have an episode out next week. We will try.
We'll see.
But we are staying at the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, which is, supposedly an extremely haunted hotel. So,
that's my ghost sound.
So hopefully we'll come back with some nice fun stories, some scary, spooky stories. And we're going to do some cool tours.
Yep.
And so
Vanilla, Famibel, concentrated, purpurated. If you guys can figure out what that came from.
Wow.
Shamil, Shamibel, concentrated, incorporated. What are the words? Shamil, Shamibel.
On that note, we'll see you guys soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.